and welcome back. We're getting started and it's been such a great week. I hope that you've been able to join me for every single day of this countdown to Christmas. But today we are officially 20 days until Christmas. It's so much fun. It's getting so exciting. What about you guys at your houses? What have you done so far to get ready for Christmas? Maybe you have a Christmas tree up. Maybe you have lights on the outside of your house. I drove by a house the other day that had lights and they had music playing and the lights were flashing to the music. It was so cool. And it was someone's normal house. It wasn't a show or anything special. All right, friends. So today we're going to read one of my favorite books. I think I say that every time. But I have my lights on. They're on. You can't really see that they're on. There they go. They're off. I can put sparkly, blinking, but let's just leave them on. There we go. Sparkly lights. We're going to read this book today. It is called The Legend of the Candy Cane. Ooh, let's see. I have a candy cane right here. Do you like candy canes? I like candy canes. My favorite way to eat a candy cane is with chocolate. So they have chocolate Hershey's Kisses that are candy canes. They have Ghirardelli candy cane bark. Ooh, those are my favorites. Or maybe like Andes mints, peppermint, and candy canes. But it's always fun to get some candy canes and put them on your tree. All right, so let's go ahead and learn about the legend of the candy cane. And it is written by Walburg. One dreary evening in the depths of November, a stranger rode into town. He stopped his horse in front of the lonely storefront. The windows were boarded shut, and the door was locked fast. But the man looked at it, smiled, and said, "It will do." Although the short gray days and the long dark nights of November, the man worked. The townspeople could hear the faint pam, pam, pam of his hammer and the snish, snish, snish of his saw. They could smell the sweet, clean scent of new lumber and the deep, oily smell of new paint. But no one knew who the man was or what he was doing. The mayor hoped the man was a doctor to heal his illness. The young wives hoped he was a tailor to make beautiful dresses. The farmers hoped he was a trader to exchange their grain for goods. But the children had the strongest, deepest wish of all. A wish they did not tell their parents. A deep down, quiet, secret wish that none of them said out loud. No one spoke to the man. No one asked if he needed help. They just waited and watched and wondered and wished. But one small girl watched and wondered and waited and wished longer than she could stand. And one snowy day, she knocked at the stranger's door. "Hello," she said. "My name is Lucy. Do you need some help?" The man smiled warmly and nodded. Then he opened the door and Lucy stepped inside. A long counter ran down the side of the room. Bare shelves filled the opposite walls in the back were dozens of barrels and crates. "Could you help me unpack?" the man asked. What do you think she's going to unpack? What kind of person do you think he is? Let's see. Lucy's heart sank at the sight of all the boxes. What if they were only barrels of nails and bags of flour? But she removed her dripping boots and hung her coat on the peg. On stocking feet, she crossed the rough wooden floor and knelt beside a crate. "Please, open it," the man urged. Slowly, Lucy put her hand into the box and pulled out an object wrapped in tissue. Round and heavy, it almost slipped through her fingers. Lucy trembled a little as she unwrapped it. Ooh, what do you think it is? It was a glass jar. Lucy gave the man a puzzled look. "Go on," he nodded. So she unpacked another glass jar, and another, and another. until she was completely surrounded by jars of all shapes and sizes, tall and thin, round and squat, jars with lids and jars without. Now, the man said, for something to put inside, and he pulled a huge crate stamped with a strange word. What do you think's going to go inside of the jars? As Lucy unpacked, her eyes lit up. It was candy! Her favorite candy, gumdrops. Try some, the man said. She popped one in her mouth. Now she could hardly unwrap fast enough. Peppermint sticks, taffy, lollipops, chewing gum. Wide-eyed, she looked at the man. We wished, Lucy said. Yes, I know, he said, and here it is. Welcome to Summerman's Candy Store. I'm John Summerman. Soon the small store was filled with candies, gleaming in their glass jars. Raspberry suckers and tiny lemon drops, brightly colored jawbreakers, and long tangles of licorice, white and pink peppermints for church, and butterscotch balls for company. Then, in the very last package, in the very last crate, was a candy Lucy had never seen before. A red and white striped candy stick with a crook on the end. What is this? Lucy asked. Look, it's a candy cane. Mr. Sunman, I think I said it right. I don't know. Explained, that is a candy cane. It is a very special Christmas candy. Why? Lucy asked. Tell me, he said. What letter does it look like? Lucy looked at the candy and turned it in her hand. J, she said. Yes, J for Jesus, who was born on Christmas Day. Look, there's baby Jesus. Now turn it over. What does it remind you of? Lucy turned the candy in her hand. She peered down instantly. I know, she said. It's like a shepherd's staff. Who were the first to find out about Jesus' birth? Shepherds in the field, Lucy answered, watching over their flocks by night. Mr. Sonnerman, I'm going to call him Sunman. Mr. Sunman, what are the stripes for? Lucy asked. The man's eyes grew sad. The prophet Isaiah said, by his stripes we are healed. Before he died on the cross, Jesus was whipped. He bled terribly. The red reminds us of his suffering and his blood. But then, Mr. Sunman continued, the candy is white as well. When we give our lives to Jesus, his blood washes away our sins, making us white as snow. That, he said, is the story of the candy cane. Is it a secret? Lucy asked. Mr. Sunman looked at her for a long time. It's a story that needs to be told, he said. Will you help me share it? It was now the depths of December. The town was whipped round by blizzard winds. For days the sun hid itself. But every morning, Mr. Sunman and Lucy ventured out. They wore heavy coats and bright hand-knit scarves, and in their stiff, mitted fingers they each held a bag. They went to every house in town. They traveled to every farm in the country. They knocked on every door. In every home, they told the story. They left a small gift, and they gave an invitation. On the afternoon of Christmas Eve, the sun finally broke through the clouds, and Sunman's Candy Store officially opened. The mayor came, feeling better than he'd felt in days. The young wives came, dressed in beautiful smiles. The farmers came, eager to trade grain for Christmas gifts. The children ran in dizzy circles. Yes, their wish had come true. Yes, they had come to share in the opening of the candy store. But they shared something more, something bigger, and something better. On that Christmas Eve, they shared the story of the candy cane. They told the miracle of Jesus' birth, the misery of his death, and the mercy of his love. There we go. Awesome. The end. Wow, that was good. Oh, look, it's shiny. That was a really good story. I like that story a lot. So let's look at my candy cane here. Okay, so in the story, we learned that it's shaped like this, like something a shepherd would have. A shepherd would have to be a shepherd. They use the hook to get sheep out of the way. If they're gonna like fall off a cliff or get into something dangerous, they hook it around the sheep's neck and pull them out of the way. It doesn't hurt the sheep though. So that's a shepherd's crook. And then you turn it this way, it looks like a J, like a Jesus. And then the red stripes are for the blood that Jesus shed on the cross for us, right? And the white represents us being cleaned by his blood, which means that if when we ask Jesus to come into our hearts, he wipes us clean of all the bad things we've ever done wrong. And so we're made brand new. Isn't that cool? I love candy canes. They also taste really good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and my favorite way to eat a candy cane. Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead. Tastes really good. Do you have candy canes at your house? Or maybe you're gonna get one, or you can go get some from the store. And you can give some to your friends and tell them the story of the candy cane, because then they remember the real reason for Christmas is Jesus. And that Jesus came to save the world just by giving his life on the cross and shedding his blood for us. Isn't that such a cool thing? It's just a piece of candy, but it also tells a really fun story. Kind of like our books told us a fun story. All right, friends, I'm going to leave you with that today. And I'm going to put another candy cane on the tree. There we go. Boom. All right, my friends, I hope you have a great rest of your night if you're about to go to bed. And if you are going to stay up a little bit longer, I want you to talk to your mommy and daddy about the candy cane so that maybe you can share the candy cane story just like Lucy and Mr. Sunman. All right, friends, good night and have a great day tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow night, okay? Okay, bye!